lastly, by Phat bars, I've got their well-known Diff drop for the whole arcs because I'm going 2 to 3 inch adjustable lift, so that's necessary. Today I'm going to put in the Diff drop because I finished work early and I'm able to get that in. So that's what the Diff drop kit comes with. Comes with brackets, bushings, bolts, extended hose line, and the best bit, a really good instruction on how to do it. So all I've done so far is pull off my bash plates so I can get in under there and start following the instructions. So pretty much all it says to do is loosen all the bolts under your diff center, put a jack, and then start removing things. You've got to reuse some of the old bolts and bushings and some other stuff you've got to reuse, but shows you exactly how to do it, how to reassemble everything, and yeah, should be pretty sweet. I'll show you guys once it's in, or if I'm having any difficulties. We've got the jack on the diff housing, which you can't see because the cross member's in the way, but we're going to pull out this thing. Now when you do it, you got to loosen this nut on the left and this nut on the right. Before you jack up your diff, pull this one out first and then jack it up, because you'll be able to get that one out and this thing out. So that thing should just, pull out like so. Now this is held in by this nut thing, which comes up. Oh, this is awkward as. Right, can we see? Comes up, which goes up in there like this. That's a 12mm Allen key or a hex. So I only had a 10. I had to go out and buy one. So make sure you got a 12mm. I just bought the attachment for the socket, attachment with the socket on it. So that's a handy little tip. And then so you jack up your diff to get that bugger out, and that holds in place while you have to then pull out that bushing in there and replace it with some stuff. So that's what I'm about to do now. Alrighty, so if you can see, I'm up to stage 5. On here, which probably can't focus, but that's alright. So all I got to do is I've got to bash out, well, remove is probably the right word, the center of this thing, because I believe I replaced this with this new one. So I've got to bash it out. It says just to put it on a block and a hammer, so I'm going to do that now, and hopefully it works. I mean, big enough hammer and it should just pop out. So I think it's just that center piece. The whole thing just pops out. Yeah, we'll find out in a sec. There we go. I've got it. So it comes off in 2 bits. So I tried setting this rubber bit on here. It wasn't coming out at the start. So my car's done 300,000 Ks. This is 2008. And there's a lot of rust and crap in here. So corrosion. Look at all the corrosion. That white stuff shouldn't be there. That's all corrosion. There's probably aluminium and other stuff. There we go. So that's the old one, and that's the new one. So how can I do this? So it looks like this one's lower and the back's higher, so dropping the diff. Thought that would have been on. Whatever, that doesn't, yeah. So then you got to put this thing back together. So I'm going to clean up all those bushings. All of these. I'm going to clean up all these. Make them look brand new again. We'll try to at least. And yeah, we will start reassembling, putting that stuff back in. So in front of me I've got the stuff we're going to reuse that's old. So these 3 hold in the right hand side bracket. These 2 hold in the driver's side bracket, the old stuff. These hold in, I don't know what you call this thing. That stuff also is with this, and so is this one. So they're all the bolts we need to use. In the diagram, a bunch more little washer things. That's as far as I can get these apart. I don't want to go too much more. I wonder if maybe the center pops out, and the same with this one. And that would get me 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, but I don't really know, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Because my car, it could be from like a newer model, it could use this stuff, but I don't really know. So all we're going to do now is assemble the new bushings into all the brackets and use the grease. It comes with a little packet of grease. I smushed mine up just to get it working, and when you do it, a good little trick with these bags is just snip a little corner off and then just squeeze it out the corner as like a little icing bag. Works really good like that. So I've reassembled everything. I've got all the new bushings in. I've used the grease. I cut my little top off and I squeeze it out like an icing bag. Right, that works really good like that. I also reassembled this factory rubber mount. Now it's got some really good little advice in this little book. It says to use a socket, so this one here, and use a vise. So I sat that like that because it's got a little spline here on this little washer and this bolt. Whacked it in the vise and squeezed it together like this, and yeah, good as new. So I can whack that in. I made sure everything's the right way. That's everything that came off. It's gone back on, so now I can start putting stuff together again. Alright, the diff drop is in. I was a little bit of mucking around with it because when I pulled out the factory brackets, so when I yanked these out, the diff actually like rolled forwards a little bit, so lining up was a pain in the bum. So I ended up having to get a second jack and put it on the drive shaft and just kick it up just to kick it forwards. Sorry, kick back, I think. Yeah, roll backwards, sorry. So I had to kick it up, and then you sort of just have to pivot around to get all the holes to line up. Just finished all those. The next thing I'm going to do while I have the bash plates off is these big old dirty Radflow coilovers. Oh, they look good. Come with, I did contact Phat bars. Pretty sure these are sway bar relocation plates. Now, I've got this bag of bolts and all this other stuff. I'm like, what are these for? I could not figure out what they're for. And all these aluminium spacers. So what these are for is the radiator support brackets actually need to be spaced down once you put the sway bar relocation brackets in. So pretty much, yeah, you put the sway bar brackets in and that'll hit the radiator support brackets. I'll show you underneath now. There's me dirty thingo. So that's the sway bar. These are the brackets I'm talking about. So they just have to be dropped down. I'm pretty sure I counted 10 bolts. So there's 2 here, 2 at the back, and there's a cheeky one tucked up on top here. And I'm pretty sure that's where they go. There's the diff drop too under here. Okay. There's the driver's side. There's the money shot, Phat bars, and then the factory rubber mounts at the back. They'll go in between the two, so they'll sit in here. So these bolts and the actual support, they'll sit in there like that. And then up on top, you may be able to see out the bolt just sticking up. Just there's the other one. So there's 10 spaces, there's 10 nuts and blah 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 to put in. So I'm going to put all those in now. So that one's in, so you can see all the spaces in here. That cheeky one up on top, and the one's in there. And that's what it used to look like. So I'm going to do this one now. That's what it's supposed to be like. I'm pretty sure that's what they're for. And then I can chuck the sway bar down. I believe it comes forwards a little bit too. But we'll figure that out. So I'll whack these in and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so you would have just seen a time lapse me chuck in the spacers on the radiator support bracket and the sway bar relocation plate. So that's it there. Sits between the actual rubber mount and the chassis. Now, what it actually does is kick the sway bar forwards and down. So you put it only can go on one way because one of the holes is closer to the back of the plate. And then that just goes on, so that pushes the sway bar forwards and down, and we've also got our clearance between our sway bar and our doodads. So yeah, and it also works out that the diff drop, you may or may not be able to see this, but the height between this bracket and the diff drop there is now the right height. So yeah, I'm going to have to get some probably aftermarket bash plates now. But yeah, so hopefully that works good. Next stage, that's everything I can do tonight. Next stage is, yeah, coilovers tomorrow night and upper control arms. Yeah, the only thing though is I got 4 bolts that I didn't use. And I don't actually know what they're for, so I'm going to try and figure that out. Yeah, I'll let you guys know if I figure out what they're for. If you guys know, and I don't end up saying it in the video, please tell me so I can put them in. But yeah, thanks. It's been a couple days since I've installed the lift kit in the car, and in this case, the diff drop. Now, this is part 1 of 2-part suspension install, as this video is just going to go way too long. So yeah, it's all in the next video, which I'll put out. It's just the coilovers and the upper control arms going in, and seeing if I can get those 33s to actually fit. So stick around for that. That should be out soon. Other than that, guys, God bless you, and I will see you in the next one. That was the camera, eh?